today we're going to be talking about harnessing the power of your products. A bit wordy, but basically we're going to talk about how you can improve your speed, improve accuracy, making sure that you're maximizing the products to the full advantage. Just by a show of hands, who here has Iris Ernie Payroll? Yep. And Iris Payroll Business or Bureau? Cash flow? Anything else? GP Payroll? Yep. Brilliant. Okay. Right, we'll go through some of the products, using some of the features, and making sure that we're obviously getting things rocking and rolling. Is it working? There we go. Okay, so as I said, we're talking about improving speed, improving accuracy. The second part of the session is how we can enable you to do better in your job. Okay? That's not to sound condescending, it's just giving you the tools, helping you, giving you all the resource in order to do your job to the best of your ability. Okay? So, who here uses the data provisioning service? Everyone's hand should go up. Yeah? Your P6s, P9s, SL1s, all of them. Who does it manually? Who logs in online, checks them? Do you all have it enabled in your software? Yeah? Brilliant. Who here uses Iris Open Payslips? These are some of the things, wow, okay, you're all using it. These are some of the things that we're going to be covering today. Iris Open Space. Has anyone heard of it? Know what it does? Yeah, we'll cover that. Spreadsheet Import or Timesheet Central. Fantastic, thank you. HR integration. Who here has HR from Iris HR, Cascade Go, Cashflow HR? Yeah, fantastic. We'll go through the HR integration between Payroll and Iris HR. And then the big all singing, all dancing is the Bureau Efficiency module. Now, this is following on from Nigel's presentation earlier, where that's obviously a product specific for Iris Payroll Professional. This one is going to be talking you through how it's going to enable you within Iris Ernie with a similar capability, and obviously that's the feature that's available today. Okay, so as we've said, manual process for data provisioning service. You log in online, you see if there's any P6s, and there's none there. You have a look at your P9s, is there any of those? Any student loans, anything else like that? The list goes on. If you do it manually, you're going to be printing these off, you're going back over to the PC, you're going to be saying, right, so-and-so has had a tax code change, and making sure you're doing that. Obviously, within the software, we do it all automatically for you. So downloading the information directly from HMRC. It's a click of a button. We download P6s, P9s, student loans, postgraduate loans. Obviously, as and when anything else is added, we'll probably download that as well. Once it's in the software, you then process that. If anything is post-dated, so the 6th of April, for instance, we're coming up to year end, you've got a lot of tax code changes that are going to be coming about. They'll all be triggered for the 6th of April, okay? As and when you process year end and you go through and do your payroll for that period, it'll then trigger and obviously automatically apply that for you. So the two products there are showing as Iris Ernie and Iris Payroll Business or Bureau. Iris Open Payslips, I don't need to go through the features because a lot of you already use this, so well done, thank you very much. But effectively, it's making sure that you're being as GDPR compliant. You're not printing off as many payslips. You're not licking and sealing all them envelopes to send them out to everyone. Click of a button, publish, and it's automatically sent off to your employees. Okay? It's a cost-saving exercise, easy to implement. All we need is your staff's email address. Once you publish that, we'll send them the communications. We'll get them registered. They'll set up their own passwords. It's their own secure online portal. So if they ever leave your business and move to someone else down the street who uses Iris Open Payslips, all that history is seamlessly transferred, okay? And don't worry, you're not paying for them once they've left your business. Okay, so so low cost and obviously increases productivity. For the employee side, like we say, it's available 24/7. So whenever they're making their mortgage applications at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can check and see exactly what information they've got or what their latest pay slip is. Excuse me. And a good thing is, obviously, P60s. As of last year, we can get P45s. They can all be uploaded to Iris Open Payslips as well, meaning you're saving on the printer ink and you're not wasting as many trees. Okay? With pension letters, we automatically upload those as well, so they have a separate area of Open Payslips, which is dedicated just purely for their pension letters. So you've enrolled into a scheme. This is obviously the reason, the rationale behind it. These are your options, etc., etc. It's fully pension regulator compliant. Iris Open Space. This is the one where not a lot of hands went up. Who were the people that put their hands up? Yeah, about 6 or 7. Fantastic. So this one was mainly geared towards bureaus. So you have a lot of clients. You do a lot of payrolls. You want a secure way of transferring information from your client, processing it, and then obviously sending out the reports. Obviously, with GDPR, it is deemed that obviously attaching things to emails that are not password protected, things like that, is not compliant. So if you're sending out spreadsheets, reports, anything else like that, attaching them to emails, and obviously it goes astray because between you and the customer, it could go wherever, then obviously you're going to have some stern knocks at the door. Okay? With OpenSpace, it is simply a Dropbox-style facility. So it's a secure online portal. You can upload documents, Excel, Word documents, PDFs, you name it. You can upload pictures of your dog if you really wanted to. With the PDFs, we can have it set to an e-approval. So you'll see on the right-hand column, you've got an e-approval column. That means that when you're sending it out to your clients, you will have the ability for them to electronically DocuSign it, or they can simply approve or reject. They can add in their comments and then obviously feed that back into your bureau. Now, from a client's perspective, they'll get the email notification saying the document's been uploaded as soon as you click the publish button in the software. And from your angle, you don't have to chase them. You know you've sent it, it's in their portal, they can then approve it, reject it. We'll automatically send them reminders to say you haven't approved it, you've still got things waiting for you. And we'll do the chasing for you, effectively. So when you've got the information, when they've approved that or rejected it, whichever the case may be, they click that button, it then comes back into your software, you get back into your inbox, and you'll see a notification saying, John Smith has approved that report that you sent him. So it was built with bureaus in mind. Now, if you take that same principle and move it to standalone companies, so say, for instance, you work in a factory or a manufacturing plant, you can send the reports from the software itself and send them across to your finance director for approval. If it's batch reports, you can send them to the batch processor. If you need to send pay slips through to HR, you can do that in the software. Just click the publish button, and we'll do that for you. Okay? Now, to get you started, obviously we do give you 1 gigabyte of space free. Now, anyone in computer language will go, what's all that about? What's a gigabyte? Effectively, it's about 1,000 documents. Okay? And they're there. It's fully audited. You can see who's approved it, who's viewed it, who's accessed it. And obviously, it's a seamless process from Payroll through into OpenSpace. Does that sound all right? Yes? Has anyone fell asleep after their dinner? Yeah? Okay. So, moving on, we have spreadsheet import. Now, this is an underutilized facility within Iris Earning. But to me, it's the most functional, the most effective way of making sure that the information comes from, should we say, the managers on the manufacturing floor. They have a standard Excel template that they fill in. Joe Bloggs has done 10 hours overtime. Jane stayed late one night. Yeah, they can add in all the extra hours, all the bonus. If it's a sales team, they can add in commission payments, expenses, anything else like that, all on a standard template. What that means for you as payroll processors is once you've set up a template like that, and you've put in the Excel column letter down the side, Basically, we will import that information for you. So we will pick it up from that spreadsheet. Once that comes back in from the floor, from the sales team, from the manufacturing side of the business, or from your clients if you do operate bureaus. Once that information comes back in, you click the import button. You can import holidays, everything else like that. Once that's imported, it goes straight through into the payroll run. It'll also go through into the diary, so you'll have an audit trail of who was off on annual leave, when they were, if it was statutory sick pay, it'll calculate the statutory sickness as well. Similar to you manually keying in 10 hours overtime for Jane and 20 hours for John. Yeah? So with that, obviously, you can have multiple templates. So you might have a template specific for the sales team, which goes through expenses and commissions and everything else like that. And then obviously you might have ones for other areas of the business that have salaried staff, for instance. And you might want to say, well, they process X amount of overtime, but that's on a different rate. We pay them double time. We don't pay them a time and a half. We can cater for that with this module, okay? Like I say, it is a seamless process. It's less kind of prone to error as well. And yeah, it's a no-brainer to me. RSHR integration. So we've got a bit of a demo on this. So if you are using RSHR or Payroll, obviously the two will talk to each other. And we'll go through a bit of a demo on how that is. So the demo will cover name changes, holidays, pay changes, sickness, payroll processing, and obviously once that's come full circle, you'll be able to view the payslip in HR, which means no more emails. Can you get me the payslips for the past 4 months for this employee? Okay, so you see here, this is obviously taken off a middle name for demo purposes. I'm not sure why you would remove a middle name. The next screen is obviously showing you bonus payments or expenses or salary changes. If there's an uplift, if they've got a pay rise, for instance, then obviously HR in their system can apply that update. The next screen is talking about absences. So if you have an employee who's requested an annual leave from the manager's approved that. That's sitting there waiting in the HR system. And then from the payroll side of the business, or payroll area, should we say, we then do a get from HR, which is going to pull all of that information down. It's going to make it as applicable as possible. You have the option to validate it. Okay, so if you don't like anything, you think there's an error, you can go back and say, don't like that, sort it out. You can see, obviously, all the changes in one view. And then once you're happy with those changes, all you need to do is click Save. Now, the reason why in the next screen we're going to be doing exactly the same is because this is showing you that you can pull from HR many, many times. So you could do it on a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. And then the final step is to do a final get from HR. And what that does to your poor colleagues in HR is it locks them out. So they can't make any more amendments whilst you're processing payroll. Okay, so there's going to be less of the issue where they're going, oh, but they've changed the bank details and I didn't tell you, or they were off last week, oh, I forgot to mention it. No, once you've got that cut off, it's done. You'll see the screen there, it's obviously going through the employee details. You can see the sickness, the absence, it's automatically tracked in the software. It's automatically calculating SSP as well, if there was any sickness. And once you've processed that in the payroll, and you're happy with those changes, it's just same as what you would normally be doing. Just hit the save the payslip, and then when that goes full circle back into HR, which is on the next screen, they will then show you how they access payslips from RSHR. Now you can understand that that's a seamless process, less prone to error. It's going to improve accuracy, because as payroll professionals, you can easily point the finger and go, it was their fault, wasn't mine. Yeah? Although you do have the validate option, I suppose. It's like a second guess. Does that sound like it's going to be a seamless link between you and HR? No more frantic emails? Anything else like that? Yeah? We are all asleep, aren't we? Okay, so moving on. We've got the Bureau Efficiency module. Now, like we say, this is the big all singing, all dancing. It's been in the software for, I want to say 12, 18 months or so. And as you can see on the screenshot there, you've got a list of automated tasks. Now, this is following on from Nigel's presentation earlier this morning, if you were here, where he's taken this feature and making it next level, okay, with the background unattended automation. Now, the automated tasks, you'll see some of the modules that are in there. So the remote payroll entry, that's an additional module. But the fundamentals, you're looking at receiving messages from HMRC. That's the DPS system that we were looking at earlier. You're then processing those messages in payroll. You're processing the actual payroll itself. And you can do that all automatically, okay? Now, from you as users, similar to Nigel's presentation, all you need to do is group them together. Director-onlys in one pot, your weeklies in another pot, your monthlies in another pot, and once they're grouped together, you can then move on and do batch processing. So with batch processing, there's a list of tasks that are run down the right-hand side. If I can get my left and my right. That is your payroll run. This is doing it on a bulk scale. So if you imagine the companies list in the middle, so where you've got demonstration company, if you imagine that's 100 of your director-only payrolls, or your 100 of your weekly payrolls, for instance, you can run through and click the run button on the bottom right, and it will go through and it will process all of those automatically. We still give you some control. So if we go back to the screen, you'll see there's some manual tasks. And the one that's highlighted there is a custom task. So you can add in your own checklists, your own processes, taking it from your notebook that's in your top drawer or your bottom drawer, or if it's fell down the back, wherever the case may be. But getting that process and putting it on screen. So if you know that John Bloggs Limited needs to be processed, and I need to send a report to their finance director, I also need to send the staffing to their HR team, you can add that as custom tasks in that process. Now, if you've had a look at the expo downstairs, they'll be happy to go through this as a demonstration for you so you can see it in action. Unfortunately, we don't have a screen recording here. But like I say, it is a click of a button. Now, that is, to me, making your jobs a hell of a lot easier. Am I right? We've got any shakes of the heads? Okay. Now, moving on. This is obviously how we can enable you as individuals and give you the power and the skills to maximize your use in the products, maximize your legislation knowledge, which is coming on to Jason in a moment. But ultimately, we're going to start off with Budget 2020. Now, everyone's got that date in their head, the 11th of March. It couldn't be any later, could it? What that means is, as a software developer, we have a very limited time to get the information from HMRC, which is why we're hoping for it earlier, get that information, get it packaged up, and get it sent out the door to you as soon as possible. Okay? So if you want more information on that and to keep you in the loop, you can either contact our support team, or you can go to iris.co.uk/budget2020, and we will keep you up to date with exactly when we are planning to release the products to you as we move forward. Had to get that bit in there. So, talking about cyclical re-enrollment, so a bit of legislation, I suppose. Now, cyclical re-enrollment is a case of it happens every 3 years. So if 3 years ago your company or your companies enrolled, you're going to have to put the re-enrollment date back into the software. You're going to have to reassess everyone. Now with Iris Early, Iris Payroll Business, Paymaster, and the others, Cashflow I believe, they all do that at the time of processing payroll. That is the time when we have all of that information, dates of birth, payroll, what they're getting paid, what the lower earnings limit is. We have all of that information. We assess them at the time that we're clicking that process button and go, yep, they can go into the scheme. Less manual intervention, less getting these spreadsheets out, Let's looking through all of your documentation from Nest to make sure they've hit the trigger points or they're not too old, not too young. We do it all for you. Now within the software, all we need you to do is just enter in the re-enrollment date. Now where you do that is on these screens. You should all know the automatic enrollment configuration tool. It's a 10-step, next, all the way through. But all you need to do is go into step 1 and enter in your re-enrollment date. And then at that point in time, and not a day before it, when it comes around to June, for instance, we will then assess your employees and make sure they're enrolled. We will automatically generate the letters, which have been approved by the pension regulator, and come in full circle, you can then upload those to open payslips. Next screen is, let's have a look, a demo of, it was kind of like a silent feature. So it was kind of rolled up into one of our releases, and not a lot of customers seem to know that it's there. Now, the screen we're talking about is the company pension dashboard. Now, that gives you a snapshot of where all your employees are with regards to automatic enrollment. It will give you the reasons why they weren't triggered, as in too old, too young. They were below the threshold. If they had a spike in earnings, it will say postponement period, things like that. And it will tell you the letters that should be generated. You can drill down into a period-by-period analysis. Say, right, month 1, they were triggered. Right, come down here, postponement. They were earning too less. That means they weren't put into the scheme. From there, you can opt out employees without having to go onto the employee record card. You calculate the refund, it calculates it automatically, and on your next payroll run, those amounts will be transposed and already waiting for you. Doing that in reverse, you've got the opt-ins, you've got the join dates, so if anyone wants to manually opt into the scheme or join, you've got those options. And like we say, you've got the publish button there to publish to open enroll. Just showing you the flip side of that in RX Payroll Business or Bureau. So that's on the pension menu, and it's the company pension dashboard. And it will give you the same snapshot of information at a glance without having to run multiple reports, looking at your automatic enrollment summary reports that you printed off and filed away from month 6. You've got it all there as a snapshot. How many of you are all going to use that screen now? How many trees are we going to save? Okay, so features like this do come out every summer. Obviously, April is kind of geared towards the legislation updates. Summer is obviously our feature-rich time. So when it comes around to summer, which will probably be September, October time, have a look at the release notes, and you'll see features like this that will be rolled out in your software. The training center. How many people are enrolled on the training center? Do you even know it's there? No? So we've had a rebrand on our website. So if you ever go to iris.co.uk, you'll see the new Move Forward theme. From there, we've got the training center. Now, this is a new feature that we've rolled out last year. It comes packed with e-learning content. We have introduction to earning. So if you have a new starter in your team, then just get them to go through that e-learning content. We'll take them through how to add a company. We'll take them through how to mark a lever. We'll take them through how to do a payroll. That takes the burden of teaching that person the software, and we'll do it in a snapshot of the time. There's also free content on there, okay? So free bite-sized information like the cyclical re-enrollment that happens every 3 years. There's free videos of that, so you can see specifically in your products where that information is, and you can follow it through as it's on screen. So you can stop the video, right, I'm going to do that step now, stop the video, do that step now, and so on and so forth. So if you head over to trainingcentre.iris.co.uk, you can sign up for a free account. We don't charge you anything, but it'll mean you get enrolled, and you'll get notified of any new courses that are released. Currently, we have the payroll side of the business, which is, should we say, the guinea pig. The payroll side of the business has all of this content that's on there. We have the accountancy side that's moving across from open learning onto the training center, so all their content has been migrated. And over the course of the year, we'll have HR and we'll have education, and it will be a one-stop shop of everything that's available. Every training content, obviously, as you know, I'm the implementation manager, so I'll look after the trainers. Everything that we teach you when we come out on site, or we do classroom, or we do webinars, we will put a version of that on the training center, which comes on to the payroll year-end packs. Who's purchased theirs already? Yeah? So we have the payroll year-end packs. They come out every year. I would say it's the same content every year, but it's not. It differs every year. There's new legislation, new trigger points that we have to adhere to, making sure that you have all of the compliant information. You know how to do an early year update in software, whether you have to do an FPS this year or is it an early year update, I can't remember. Obviously, as the things change with HMRC, we have that direct link, as Alona mentioned earlier, with HMRC. It comes feature-rich with all of the legislation content. We will take you through in your software how to do a year-end process. So for those of you that have done it year and year and year, that's fine. You know the buttons that you need to click, but it happens once a year. And it'll been 12 months since you did it last time. So just that peace of mind, make sure that you purchase your payroll year-end pack. The content, as we've discussed earlier, is released the 11th of March. But you can register now, and as soon as the content's there, and we've got the tax bandings, we've got the NI thresholds, and everything else that comes through, we've obviously get you sorted and get you enrolled. Now, if you want to see any more information, we've got the Expo pack stand downstairs even. You can come speak to a member of professional services, so it's me, I'm the person here, or you can speak to your account manager. So if you want to give us a call when you get back into the office, if you think, actually, I think that feature might be good, then let us know, and we will make sure that we assist you in any way that we can. Thank you very much.